Hello, Parker Cross, Scranton Shakespeare Festival callback for The Winter's Tale. I'm doing the time soliloquy. I that please some try all, both joy and terror, of good and bad, that makes and unfolds error. Now take upon me, in the name of time, to use my wings. Impute it not a crime to me or my swift passage, that I slide o'er 16 years and leave the growth untried of that wide gap, since it is in my power to o'erthrow law, and in one self-born hour to plant and to overwhelm custom. Let me pass. The same I am ere ancients' order was, or what is now received. A witness to these times have brought them in, so shall I do to the freshest things now reigning, and make stale the glistering of this present, as my tale now seems to it. Your patience this allowing, I turn my glass and give my scene such growing as you had slept between. Leontes leaving, the effects of his fond jealousy so grieving, that he shuts up himself. Imagine me, gentle spectators, that I now may be in fair Bohemia. And remember well, I mentioned a son of the king's, which Florizel I now name to you, and with speed so pace to speak of Perdita, now grown in grace, equal with wondering. What of her ensues, I list not prophecy, but let time's news be known when 'tis brought forth. A shepherd's daughter, and what to her adheres, which follows after, is the argument of time. Of this allow, if ever you have spent time worse ere now, if never, yet that time himself doth say, he wishes earnestly, you never may. And that was the Times soliloquy that opens the second half of the play. And the questions, what comes easiest to you in performing Shakespeare? When I thoroughly prep myself, I find breathing very easy, and that's not a facetious thing to say. Breathing's at the heart of the training that I had at Shakespeare and Company and returned to. So I find that when I'm focused and when I have the time to prepare, I find it really easy on stage with an audience to breathe. And that's really important for an actor to do. What is the biggest challenge you face when it comes to performing Shakespeare? I like rehearsals. I like to rehearse. I really like to rehearse. I like to spend more time in rehearsal than it takes me to get to the rehearsal, the time to drive to rehearsal. So I find that a rehearsal, I like rehearsing. So I want to rehearse. If I'm called for a rehearsal, I want to rehearse. I find it challenging, really challenging, if I'm called to rehearsal and then I don't get to rehearse. So yes, I like to rehearse. I find it challenging not to rehearse. How do you like to rehearse? I love games. I mean, I can do structure, but I love games. I love group exercise. I love table work. I love to know what it is that we're doing and why we're doing and why I'm doing this thing. I like feedback. So I like rehearsals when there's an exercise, a group exercise, or an individual exercise that's tied to the scene, or just running the scene and then getting some feedback and trying things out. I'm open. I'm old, but I have a young mind. or I'm young and I have an old mind. One of those things is true. I can adapt myself to whatever process is used because I have my own process that I'm going to be true to. That I will, before we come to rehearsal or performance, I will have done a Linklater warm-up so that I'm on my voice and my breathing. But for a rehearsal, I do like, my main training is the improv, Second City and Upright Citizens Brigade and Keith Johnstone. That's all the stuff that's in my resume. But I do like games. I do like, they're acting games to me. So I do like that. I do like group work. I do like table work. That's fun for me. Well, one of the other questions is, my favorite color, this is going to be a shock to you, is purple. I like purple. Purple makes me feel happy. It's my addiction. I see purple and I think, I've sent love out to the universe and it sent purple back to me. I see somebody in purple and I think, yeah, you look really good. That's really nice. That's really very fashionable for you. Maybe it's an addiction, but there are worse things to be addicted to than purple. I just like the color purple. I think it's a very lovely color. What is something you like about yourself? I like my hair. I did have to dye my hair recently. It's a little more silver gray for a pilot on a thing called The Vibe, about a California new age, all-encompassing sort of Woolworths, if you go back that far. Or it's a place where people come to study and buy books and buy talismans and et cetera, and so much more. And I'm really not suited for the role, but I was asked by the director, the woman who inspired it, to play it. So I had to youthen a little bit. So my hair's a little more gray, but it can be any color that you like, as long as it suits the play. So I like my hair. I like my hair. I like my hair. I like that I accept and amplify, and I improv really well. And if I have a real talent, I'm a master with an audience. I really work with an audience very well. I'm very comfortable with audiences. No. I think that's it, right? That's it? Yeah, good. Thank you. I hope I upload this correctly and get it on YouTube, and you can see it on YouTube. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. And I thank you again. And I'll be grateful if